How do we really cultivate a self-pleasure practice that connects us to our hearts and our pussies?
Yeah, yeah. Wow. I think I know so many people that get into relationships, and then often when it comes to sexual dynamics, if they're really honest with themselves, they're performing the whole time. They're doing what they think is going to turn their partner on versus doing things that turn them on for the sake of their turn on. And so sometimes I find with especially women when I give them maybe the practice, because it is a practice, like you show up to the mat for yoga, if I haven't done yoga for a long time and then I go to the mat and then, everyone around me is getting into a handstand and I'm like, I can barely hobble, a foot up into the air. I'm like, this takes practice in order for me to get to standing on my head, and that kind of example. But when it comes to sex, I position, if you were to take maybe this practice and do it one time with yourself, what is that going to feel like? But if you only do it one time with yourself and it's challenging and you rush through it, then there's a possibility that that's happening in your sex in general and your connection with your sex in general. So sometimes I find women have a hard time even going to do it. It's almost like, all the stuff that they wind up taking into the bedroom starts to peek through, because they'll say things like, well, I save that for my partner. I'd rather just do that with my partner and not do that for myself. Or I give them the assignment and they resist it and resist it and resist it. Or they go to do it and they get frustrated and they abandon it and they will leave it because it's uncomfortable. Sometimes giving that exercise to people or encouraging them to do that is harder than saying, bring this into your actual partnership to do with your partner, because then it's something that they can act on versus something that they can be with. And when they're being with themselves, stuff can come up. And I think there's this idea that if I'm going to self-pleasure or if I'm going to masturbate, which I like the word self-pleasure versus masturbation, because masturbation is a word that literally means to defile. So it doesn't have a good connotation. And so if we say you're going to self-pleasure and you're going to bring touch and presence to your body, not just your genitals, but your whole body, and you're going to be sweet with yourself and you're going to turn your favorite music on and you're going to make sure everybody's locked out and you have this private moment, what's going to come up? Because for a lot of people, it's not just an orgasm. For some people, it's challenge in achieving orgasm. And for some people, they've never touched themselves that way. Maybe even their lover doesn't touch them that way. And it can be very confronting.